Hi, how you doing? My name is Jeff. I'm with Flatline TV, and I've got two cast members, Escalante Lundy and Moses Mosley from Attack of the
Southern Fried Zombies.
Southern Fried Zombies. I mean, that is a long title, a super long title. Directed by Mark Newton, which is actually going to be coming out really soon, March 13th, actually this year. Gentlemen, I got to ask you, how did you guys get into this role? How were you guys picked to be in this part?
I was picked during the New Orleans Film Festival, which was like 2 years ago. I had two films that were in the film festival, The Lot and Us Against the World.
Okay.
And after the film premiered, I came outside the theater and I met the producer, Daniel Wood.
Okay.
And he had two other people with him, and he came up to me and said, "I have a movie for you." And if I did every movie that everybody told me to have a movie from, I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be on somebody's set. So anyway, he told me he had a movie from me. We exchanged information, and that was October. So in January, I had a email from one of his people,
okay,
jury, and sent me a script. Then I talked to Mark. And then I met with him. He came to New Orleans because he has a place there, and he told me about the film. So it actually came to reality.
Okay.
So that's how I got involved in it.
All right.
My agent Katie was friends with one of the casting directors, Miss Laura Warner, and my agent Katie, she sent her my information and my headshot. And Miss Laura, she liked my headshot, so they had me audition for the part of Robbie.
Okay.
And I sent in my taped audition, and that next day, I believe, they said they wanted me, and I got casted pretty much off of that taped audition.
Okay. How long, I understand that the movie was actually supposed to come out in 2017. Is that correct?
I think you probably have to talk to the producer about that. I think he was trying to probably build up a little momentum.
Okay.
Get a little more traction with the film before it came out, and it's been to several film festivals. He's been to a few Comic-Cons around the country, and I think he feels now is the time.
As a matter of fact, it won for Best Gore 2017 Fantastic Horror Film Festival, and it was nominated for Best Best Feature Film. There we go. And then also for Best Story, if I remember.
Yeah. Yes.
So I mean that's pretty big, for a movie that nobody's really heard of yet, to already have won these awards, or won the award, and then we have the two nominations behind it. So I mean that's already pushing, something pretty strong right there. So I mean that's something to be proud of right there. Is just you've got a strong project already coming out, out of the door that nobody's even seen.
Yes,
so
yes.
The production, I mean, we talked a little bit off camera and everything about the production, how it has that small town feel. Like it seems like they just kind of brought everybody in, just to kind of help out with the production. That everybody just, wanted to help out. It almost like they took a small town. Once you see the film, it looks like everybody just kind of helped out a little bit here and there, just bit parts. But it looked like a small town feel, like everybody just wanted to get involved in it. Did you guys? Was that kind of how it went, or was there a little something more than that? Because it doesn't seem like a bunch of extras. It seems like it's too fluid of a town for everybody to come through and just kind of help out like that.
I think in part because it was, such a small town and really close knit. When a lot of the people saw that we were coming there, some of them already wanted to know what they had to do in order to be a part of it.
Okay.
And then when we made it easily accessible for them, a lot of them came on and were willing to help out in the way that they could.
Okay.
And I think that's what really contributed to the success of the film so far, and what made it turn out so well was the fact that so many people were so eager and so willing to put aside their personal things, their personal time, and give us their time just to be a part of something that they felt was going to be great. So
see, a film like that, I mean, that's even more special to really come in and be a part of that kind of a project. Like I said, with the awards, it's already strong as it is, but then you got everybody who wants to be a part of the production, and that pushes it, and it makes it more of a personal movie. Like, we really tried hard on this movie and had a lot of support from the town that you guys filmed in to really come along and help this movie out. One of the things I wanted to talk about was throughout the movie, we noticed a little bit of character development. Escalante's character, Ed Newton, was a basically an entrepreneur. He's running a meat pie,
Yes.
and actually one of the more popular meat pies versus his competitor, Ben Johnson. So through that, I mean, he had a lot of he had a lot of popularity with the townspeople, as it was obviously, the long line that was waiting outside your booth there. But also all the way up until, I don't want to give anything away, but the strong development at the very end, where you had to make a decision. You were already on the line, but you had to make a decision whether to really help out and to get this thing moving. Help out these survivors versus your own personal sacrifice.
Yes, I guess for several factors, I was the elder statesman of the group, and I already had a personal tragedy. I won't say what it is. So for me, that they can go on,
okay,
and that this can stop, because I was in a situation where I may not have been able to continue, but for them to go on and stop this, so the town may be able to recover in the future. So his head has the I guess a little hero in him.
right?
He looks for the other. He looks to take care of the other person before himself. So I think that's being that type of person. He knew would be best going forward, and that's why he did what he did.
And you could definitely feel that in your character, especially the love between you and your onstage character,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
his wife, and you could feel the love in between the two of them, and you could feel how much, he kind of put himself into the, in the back, and just, I'm going to take care of these people first.
Yes.
Even with his competitor, Ben Johnson, you didn't even really give him too much hate. There was a little bit of, hey, what are you doing stepping on, into my area? You're overstepping your boundaries, but, even then, cooler heads prevailed, and you just kind of, what, all right, I'll just let bygones be bygones, And then even at the end, there was a little bit of a reprieve back there,
Yeah.
kind of a forgiveness a little bit. But Robbie, your character, we had Robbie who started off, hanging out with some friends and just kind of in search of, we should say, some extracurricular activities. But, in case the kids are watching at home, but, your character went from, kind of I don't want to say kind of a small town punk, because it's not really what it was. It was more of a just kind of a, hey, I'm doing my own thing. Me and my friends were kind of, we're off in our own little world, forget everybody else type of thing.
Yeah.
Because there was, I did notice in the movie there was a little bit of an attitude with the character.
It was,
but then
yeah.
as things progressed through the movie, Robbie's character actually became somewhat of a badass. He took charge and, talking to Mayor Luckwood and say, hey, this is what we need. I need your help. And then even all the way up until the very end, it had that take charge.
Yeah.
So tell me about that, Dan. Tell me about how you decided to go from, from this. I mean, I understand, with the script and everything like that, it's kind of, but you have to put your own spin into it.
Yeah.
So tell me about that, please.
Originally, when I read the script, I kind of automatically immediately related to Robbie because
Okay.
it felt like, okay, I'm this kid that's just, trying to get whatever I want out of life, don't care about, who I'm taking it from or whatever. I just
Okay.
I just want what I want, and it doesn't really matter what anybody says or does or has to feel about me at all. I just want to get what I want to end with. But I feel as though that deep down I do care. I did care about my sister. I did care about my other friends,
Right.
and I did want them to keep surviving, and now that the situation is transforming into something that could be, catastrophic and we could possibly lose our lives from it.
Right.
I felt that caused me to say, okay, well, I can't put what I want in front of everybody else anymore. I got to
Right.
do what I got to do to make sure these people keep living, because when it comes down to it, I care more about them than me getting what I want.
Okay.
And I think that's what the character development goes into, is the fact that it wasn't just about me anymore. It wasn't about what I wanted. The world and the lives of people I care about are in danger. So now I got to grow up and take responsibility for what's going on and do what I can to help.
See, and I actually like that. I mean, both of you gentlemen shared, a little bit of your personality that came out, of your own, your own lifestyles, something that's happened to you, and then you brought it to this character to kind of help bring out the development of these characters, which is actually really, remarkable, because a lot of people just kind of play the part, and just leave it as it is, but you guys are actually putting your own personal spin on it, and that's what makes the characters a little bit more believable, and I like that. But I kind of want to hit upon, some of your past projects, because you guys are actually attached to a lot of big things. As we all know, if you don't already recognize, and you guys should, this is Big Fred from Django Unchained, which was a lot of people around here, just talking to people walking around and stuff like that. A lot of people are like, is that Fred? Is that Fred? I couldn't tell you how many people were actually, mentioning it. It's like, no, that looks like him. And I mean, they really did recognize you because it was such a powerful part, so you were also in a Pampers commercial, if I'm not mistaken, with Drew Brees from the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, that was my first SAG project.
No way.
That was the year the Saints won the Super Bowl too. So it's right the week before they played Minnesota to go for the NFC Championship.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to bring that up on me, because a lot of people are like, no, it was a Pampers commercial, but still, I mean, nobody gets to say they were out standing next to Drew Brees and be able to shoot the shit with them, Yes. And so, I mean, that's actually pretty cool, But your start, we were talking a little bit about that, but your start into acting was actually a very interesting story. I'll let you talk about it, because, I mean, you can tell more details than I can, but, I mean, it's a very interesting start.
Yes. Originally, I used to live in Sacramento. Okay. I worked for the state of California, Department of Transportation. I was a project manager. And I've had several people tell me I would be a good producer, because a producer is basically a project manager.
Right.
And I was producing a play in Los Angeles, a gospel play called Get Thee Behind Me. And 2 days before the play was scheduled to go off, I get a call from the executive producer asking me to be in the play because of one of the gentlemen. I fit his physical description, and he couldn't make it. And I tried to find excuses, because I was, I don't do acting. But okay. I agreed to it because the play must go on. I agreed to it if they took the speaking parts out.
Okay.
So I could do that. So I fly to LA, I do the play, and while I'm on stage, I get this feeling that this is something that, I should do, or at least pursue. And Katrina happened. I moved back to New Orleans, and I started going to plays when I was home. And I knew somebody who owned the theater, so I went in for lessons. Mm. And eventually lessons turned into a lead, the male lead in a play called A Papaya Man.
Okay.
Because I went in for lessons. He told me, I want you to read for this part. And I'm thinking it's a small part. I said, what's the name of the play? He said, The Papaya Man. What part do you want me to play? The Papaya Man. And I'm saying to myself, if I'm the name of the play, I'm going to be on stage a lot, have a lot to say. So that was my introduction.
So it was just a thrust into the limelight, just like that.
Threw him into the deep end of the pool. And
sometimes that's how you learn, and that's how you get over the fear, just kind of get thrust right into it and just sink or swim. There
was no backing out. There was no easing my way in. Either I was going to do it or not do it.
Okay.
And that was January 2007, 11 years ago, and 45-ish projects ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite a bit of projects just under your belt, just right there.
Yes.
But as fate would have it, you had your own, calling just kind of out of nowhere, coming out of Georgia State. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I was going to Georgia State University, and I was studying law.
Okay.
And it just so happens I was done with class one day, and I was walking out of class, and a random girl, she pulled me to the side and asked me if I wanted to be in a movie.
Okay.
And at first I was like, what kind of movie? What are you talking about? I'm thinking it's going to be in somebody's basement or something.
Especially in college. I mean, you're already like, hey,
Everybody's already doing this stuff already, so it's like, okay, what are you talking about? And I think she saw my face expression, and she immediately knew I was talking. She was like, no, it's a real
totally
movie.
Legit.
It's legit,
Okay.
It's, and it happened to be the movie Joyful Noise with Queen Latifah and Dolly Parton.
Really?
Yeah, and they were looking for people for this particular scene, this club scene.
Okay.
And I was out of class, and someone just told me, just go ahead and do it. You don't have anything else to do for the day. Just go ahead and see what it is.
Okay.
So I went in, I shot that. We shot that for about my scene for about 2 days.
Okay.
And after I got done with that, they started sending me more and more emails to submit to more and more casting calls in different movies and TV shows.
Nice.
And I just kind of been doing it ever since. It just felt like it just kind of was brought to me, and I just took to it, and it just felt like I was meant to do this.
Okay. Now, were you doing the modeling before you started acting, or did this kind of come after?
It kind of came after because I was getting different modeling stuff. from at a store I was working at, a retail store, and I had random customers say, you have a nice face, you have a nice physique, do you want to, model? And at first it was the same thing, like, okay, I don't know who you are.
Well, see, that's why the lady came up to you in the thing. You're like,
exactly, and it's like I don't know. I didn't know anything about it until I started, Googling stuff and looking it up and seeing what was legit and what wasn't. And I did a couple, print ads for different clothing lines, and this and acting, which is something that kind of came after.
Okay.
Because yet again, I still didn't consider myself a professional even with that, because it was just something I was playing around with, making a little extra money here and there, and that was it. But then with when acting came into play, I really I kind of took to it.
Okay.
And I started feeling like, okay, this is something that I want to do for the rest of my life, and
Nice.
it just felt right,
Yep.
Yeah.
See, it seems like fate just kind of put you into, right into the crosshairs right there.
Yeah,
Just kind of said, okay, you're going to do this or you're not going to do this.
Exactly right, yeah.
But for all you Walking Dead fans, if you guys are familiar with the character Michonne, this gentleman right here, Moses, if you want to lift up, you'll recognize him that way. He was one of Michonne's, I don't want to say pet zombies, but they were what protected her out there in the woods while she was wandering kind of aimlessly out there. How was that?
It was a lot of fun. It was one of those things where, yet again, I had to get used to, but it was the third thing I ever did acting-wise.
Okay.
So for me, it was like, when they took me into the, at first I got the part literally after I started submitting myself to different casting calls.
Really? Okay.
And I got a phone call one early morning at 4 a.m. And there was this other guy, and this guy, one of the casting people, he said, hey man, sorry about the hour, but this just opened up. Do you want it? And I was like, okay, whatever, fine. At first I was kind of in a delirious state because I was, I was half asleep. And, at the time I was just looking for stuff to put on my resume because I was still pretty new to it. And I woke up that next morning and I thought I dreamed it. And I was like, okay, that didn't happen last night. No way. And I got up and I checked my emails, and there was a confirmation saying where and when to be here. And I was like, okay, that really did happen. Like,
wow.
Awesome, And it was that next day I had to go down there and meet everybody and walk through the stage and everything. And they explained to me everything they need me to do. And I asked me if I was still on board. And I said, sure. And I shot with them for a couple of weeks. And it was a lot of fun. It was amazing because it took me some getting used to with all the makeup and everything, because that was something totally new to me. I had no idea this much work went into real movies and TV shows.
Something like that. I mean, it's an hours-long process.
It was, and it was really not only fun but educational, because they didn't realize how much they were teaching me, because I knew nothing about this side of film.
No kidding.
And, it was just more or less not only, it not only changed my life, but it also enlightened me, and I learned so much just from working on that set that I've been able to integrate into my life today, and as well as my career, and it was just a blessing.
That's pretty awesome. Now I got to ask about some future projects. Okay. All right. Now, I wanted to ask about the future projects real quick, and we're getting ready to wrap up pretty soon. But the other thing I wanted to ask, I mean, you guys have already met a couple different people already, but do you guys have a celebrity crush?
Well, I guess on Django, everybody was. Sam Jackson, Christoph Waltz, Leonardo DiCaprio, Jamie Foxx, and of course Kerry Washington. She became a crush.
Okay.
And I think Quentin was because in his movies he's the star.
I think everybody's got a crush on Quentin at one point or another, And
a thing that people don't know about Quentin is the obvious thing is he's very intelligent. He's very passionate. He's bigger than life. He writes and directs everything. But the thing that I saw that a lot of people don't see is extremely generous.
Okay.
Because it was 2012 when I auditioned for that, and there's 1,000 guys he could have picked. And there's something he saw in me that I didn't see in myself. And one thing he did, once or at least twice or sometimes once a week, he would have screenings. He would take a theater, rent out the whole theater, and just invite the cast and crew.
Wow.
Have pizza and alcohol and anything you want. Have some obscure movie that he likes. And it would be like once or twice a week. He would do it every week.
No, I did hear something about that where he actually bought himself a theater and was doing that for a little while. And he had the cast and crew that would come down, for the different projects he was doing and stuff like that. And I mean, the parties were phenomenal from what I'm hearing. Just from the back channels and everything like that. I mean, man, my cousin, as a matter of fact, he's a huge Quentin fan. Mm-hmm. So the diversity of his cast and I mean the amount of, just. I want to say more of the. I'm losing my train of thought. The deeper meanings that go behind a lot of his scripts. I mean, his scripts are just very, very heavy.
Yes.
You know, and it's not so much that people are looking at it to where, you know, oh, okay, because, I mean, he does have a lot of colorful language in his films, and everybody knows that. Anybody who's seen a Quentin Tarantino fan, you know the language. But, I mean, but there's not so much, I mean, I understand, you know, when Leonardo DiCaprio, he did his part with Samuel L. Jackson, you know, there was a little bit of a kind of a heaviness, and Leonardo was kind of just hesitant on a lot of his parts.
Yes.
I mean, did you feel that same kind of, kind of heaviness in there, or did you feel... Because, I mean, I know there's a lot of stigma, and we're supposed to be, you know, moving on towards that. I mean, in my family, you know, I'm Creole, you're Creole, I believe. And then, but there's a lot of diversity, and we're trying to move away from that. So I want to see, you know, because, I mean, it's been coming to light with a lot of different things, but I wanted to see if there was something that you guys felt, you know, in your guys' career so far, if you guys have felt you guys have been getting your, you know, a fair shake and whatnot.
For somebody, I didn't start acting until I was 40. So at my age, starting this late and be able to do the number of films I've done, because most guys my age have been acting for, I'm like a 20-year behind everybody else. So to be able to do the films, the number of films I've been able to do, I'm very appreciative.
Right.
Now, the thing is about levels. You get to a level where you're becoming a lead or strong support. That's where it gets tougher, because now studios are looking at, will this person help me recoup my investment? So, as far as that's concerned, they look at Facebook followings, Twitter followings, Instagram followings. Maybe not so much just acting, unless you're a name. So that's where the lack of opportunity comes in.
Okay.
I think pretty much the same thing here. Is I started when I was 21. I'm 26 now, but it's still to the point where it's like it's more about your following and who you are versus your actual talent. And I think still talent should play the most important role in it, because you still need someone to actually sell your production, not just have a bunch of random people looking at it. You know, you want people to see this and want to watch it again just because it was so captivating. And I think sometimes in some productions we tend to lose sight of that, and I think we really should get back to the quality, not just the quantity.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I mean, that goes for everything. Quality is important. It is very, very important. Now, one last question before we start wrapping this up. How has your fan base been coming? I mean, do you have people recognizing you off the streets and just kind of saying, hey, you know, shake your hand and just say, hey, I recognize you from this, I recognize you from that? Have you guys experienced that yet?
Initially, I did a lot after, the commercial with Drew Brees around New Orleans, and I did some other commercials in New Orleans. People would notice me, and after Django, it was, you know, people were, my Facebook followers went up double. In less than a month, and I wasn't even on Instagram or Twitter. My publicist told me get on this, and you know, and people asked me to send them photos, and initially, it was a lot. It was a lot. People recognized me, and it's still to this day. I had somebody from Russia
really?
In December asked me, can they send an autograph picture of me? So. Because Django still plays. Still getting residual checks. I saw it on BET the other day, and it's still, you know, it's still playing. And some people have seen it for the first time, because most people don't see that movie until they late teens.
Right.
So every year in the United States, about 5 million people turn 18 years old.
A lot of people, and a lot of it was the content, you know.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, what is one of the weirdest things a fan has ever said to you, or like, if you had a fan just come up and you hear stories all the time where fans just kind of do something just outrageous, just completely outrageous. Is anything weird like that happen to you guys?
I say the strangest thing I ever got in the mail was a woman's undergarments, and she wanted me to sign one and send it back and to keep the other one. So I say that was probably the coolest thing.
Now, did you do it? You
I'm
can say
ashamed
yes.
to say I did. I couldn't help it. I think that was probably the coolest thing that ever. It made me feel like a rock star. Yeah.
That comes with showing off the abs and everything like that. You know, like that. I mean, of course, you use. Was it like Prince and like a lot of other entertainers? They just throw the panties out there, you know. So I mean, if you're getting sent in the mail, say, hey, I want you to personalize this one. I want it to smell like you. So put on your favorite cologne. Send it. Hey, that's. No heart, no shame, no judgment. That was probably the coolest thing
that ever happened.
That is cool, though. That is super cool.
I had, I'm two gentlemen. That's both, but I had one gentleman from Canada asked me know if I was gay or not because he thought I was hot, and he wanted to meet me. And then I said, man, you know, I appreciate it, but you know, I think we could just be friends.
There you go.
And I had this other guy from Mississippi sent me a picture of himself in his birthday suit.
Oh.
Yes. So, you know, I
think that would qualify as something outrageous, yeah.
Yeah, you know, I say I appreciate it, but I don't think this is appropriate. And, you know, I think there's maybe somebody else may more appreciate it, but it's not for me.
You see, look at it, even still, the Gentle Giant, you know, just kind of letting him down a little bit easy and everything like that.
As long as you're not trying to stalk me or physically harm me, you know, everybody have their thing. So, you know, if your thing doesn't mess with my thing, it's fine. We just keep it separate but equal.
There you
All
go.
right. Well, gentlemen, I appreciate you guys coming out and taking the time to speak with me. Just off stage and off camera and everything like that, I got to know a lot about you guys, and man, I really enjoy you guys being here. I mean, honestly. And again, this is Escalante Lundy, and this is Moses Mosley from Attack of the Southern Fried Zombies, directed by Mark Newton. It's coming out next month, March. Look for it. Coming out video on demand. Amazon Prime, I think, is going to be one of the first people to have it, so keep an eye out for that. Very well done. Gentlemen, again, I appreciate you guys coming out. I'm Jeff McCaffrey. This is Flatline TV, and keeping the finger on the pulse of horror.
All right, thank you.